Hello, friends, and welcome to Pod Return to the Waking Sands. We are a Final Fantasy XIV companion podcast where we explore the lore and story of Hydaelyn and beyond. My name is Jen, and I'm joined by my co-host and researcher.
I'm Levi.
Hello, Levi.
Hi, Jen. How's it going?
It's great. We just had some meatloaf sandwiches.
Yeah.
They were delicious.
They were great. This is meatloaf from the Food Lab Cookbook by Kenji Lopez. I recommend on the book and the meatloaf.
Oh, man. It's the best meatloaf I've ever had. And then as a sandwich with like mayo and cheese and pickles, like shut up. It's amazing.
You shut up, Jen.
You shut up.
Actually, don't, because we gotta...
Shut up. Make me more meatloaf.
You got like a third loaf to
More.
go.
More.
Finish your loaf, Jen, before you get more.
Whatever. Give me a day.
Also, don't shut up, because we are talking about the A Realm Reborn intersociety quests. What is this thing, Jen? This is the wrap-up for the A Realm Reborn Allied Society quests, formerly known as Tribe quests. Once you do all 5 of them, you unlock this finale. We can pick up this quest at any Grand Company headquarters. So let's get right to it.
Let's go.
We find an officer of our choice, and they are overjoyed by all the headway we've made into beast-tribe relations. But the Twin Adders have an urgent need for our assistance.
Oh, I went to the Twin Adders too. So...
Well, no matter what you pick, they will send you to the Twin Adders.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then great. So I'm talking to a guy named Gavin for the deets. Turns out that Voice,
our favorite fraud,
our self-styled Sylphic scholar, has sent a missive that seems to indicate something has gone terribly awry, and he's asked for our help by name.
So side note before we get into it in full, the first 2/3 of this quest go at a breakneck pace. There's no like camping out in one location. You are just kicked from place to place to place. This is not us summarizing. This is the pace of the quest.
Thanks for the warning.
You're welcome.
No, I wanted to spend even more time with the kobolds.
I know you do, Jen.
Yeah.
So we head over to Little Solace and we find Voice up to his usual level of antics. He complains to us that his reference book has been swapped for a manual of beastkin feces. So thank you for re-traumatizing on the Sylph Quest tier humor.
Great.
Starting off hot.
Yeah. So we're like, hey man, what do you need? And he's like, what? Why are you here? We're like, you summoned us? And he's like, oh, right. Okay. So the issue, a large quantity of podlings from Little Solace was stolen right from underneath his nose, and he's embarrassed and horrified. And if Frixio, that's the tribe elder, ever found out, well, I would be entirely unsurprised. And Frixio flies up and was like, yeah, I heard all of that. And I'm not... So, yeah, Voice is convinced that the touched ones are responsible for the theft. Seems reasonable. Their goal is to raise an entire generation of tempered, treacherous sylphs, and we must go to the Sylphlands and bring back the babies. So we head off to the entrance of the Sylphlands and do a little stakeout, see what we see, and we're chilling. Ere long, a strange voice addresses us. Her eyes are open, but does she see? And we turn around and see a quote-unquote mysterious girl. She's dressed all in green, with green hair and green eyeshadow. And
she has gray and white striped leggings.
She says that what we seek is not here. The Sylphs are not responsible for this. This is the beginning of a dark plot that threatens Eorzea to its very core.
Debatable.
And we're like, we've heard that before. Well, what is your name? And she says we can call her Sylvie.
But we won't, because we will just leave and she will deal with this problem by herself.
If we know what's good for us.
So, talking to herself now, she says that she must hurry to La Noscia before tragedy strikes.
again.
We head back to Voice for some reason, and we say what we learned, and he concludes that it is pirates that are going to be kidnapping these sylphs and selling them or something, but he has an associate in Limsa named Guston.
Yeah, Guston. Guston.
So we follow the trail of this random name drop, and we find him in the drowning wench in Limsa.
Drowned wench. She has been drowned.
Maybe.
Right.
This guy is a Heor with a slight mustache, slicked back blonde hair, and a blue-gray tank top. We explain that we are sent by Voice, and Guston launches into a round of complaints against him. So immediate points for Guston.
Yeah, I journeyed halfway across the realm in the hopes of ridding myself of that barnacle-brained lubber. Yeah, everybody has really high opinions of poor Voice.
It gives you some hope that the devs know that he is as awful as we think he is.
Yeah, I mean, they probably designed him that way for a little bit of comic relief, which is nice. Especially the chocobo suited up Voice lurking in the background on that final bit of the Sylph quests. That was just worth it. It was almost, but that was fantastic. Anyway, so we tell him about Voice's theory of, the self-stealing pirates. And he's like, that is absolutely ridiculous, but just ridiculous enough to maybe be true. Earlier in the day, he saw an unfamiliar face at the docks with a brand new ship heading to Halfstone despite a thick fog. And he's not one to judge, but something about this guy just didn't seem right. Guston's son, Robin, actually exchanged some words with this strange dude. So we should go talk to Robin.
Robin is the child that was rescued in the Sahagin quest line.
At the very beginning, when the bad Sahagin ambushed a merchant ship or something, and a bunch of people died, Robin was the little kid in the rowboat, and Mom was like, "Where's my child?" And he is being pushed ashore by our friends at the Clutch, the good Sahagin.
Very absolutist. You got the bad ones and the good ones.
You got the bad ones and you got the good ones. The good ones are red, though, so that's really confusing. Anyway, so I was like, holy shit, it's this kid. And he's like, thank you for delivering the necklace or giving the necklace back to the Sahagin. They were really nice to me. And so we'd ask him about the strange man that he talked to. And he said the man in question, he had a strange metal mask on, but it was a partial metal mask on his face. And he was muttering something about a score to settle with Nav. And Nav is the Clutch father for the good Sahagins. So Robin, as another thank you, he hands us a sack of oranges to deliver to them.
Just like the ones that we gave them at the end of the Sahagin quest line.
Oranges. Yes.
Yes?
Yeah.
Why are you saying it weird?
I'm saying it like Knob says it.
I got it.
He doesn't know what oranges are.
He does now. He ate some.
Well, yeah. But he's heard the word twice in his life.
Fair. Anyway, we keep on this trail of breadcrumbs or orange peels. I don't know, Jen. We head over to Nav's Clutch and pass on the gift. It is well received, but we are in the middle of catching up with Nav and hearing how he's training all these young clutchlings when his brash son Sue rushes up crying alarm. At first, Nav is like, hey bro, chill. We are enlightened Sahagin. But then Sue is like, our brother Boo was kidnapped, and then Navs freaks out.
Yeah. He's like, it's about our youngest brother, and I pronounced it like Bo.
Or how about Bow?
It could be like, Bo.
The spelling is B-O-U-U, so you figure it out.
Dealer's choice. So yeah, Nav was like, what the fuck? So Bo was spearfishing at Moonshade Isle, and he was just straight up kidnapped by somebody. And Nav asks that we accompany him to the Isle to figure out what the fuck. So when we get there, we're immediately ambushed by a couple of mercenaries.
Merciless mercenaries.
And while we're distracted with that bullshit, the kidnapper flees in a little rowboat, a skiff, into out to the open ocean. And we can see that Bo is bound.
Yeah, and Nav comments that Bo's gills are not yet developed, so if he falls in the water, he will drown.
So Nav speeds out to the boat and pounces on it and confronts this guy.
Well, before then, we get a cutscene of the boat itself. We see Bo tied up, and we see that at the fore of the boat, we see our nemesis. This is a blonde Mikote wearing a black tunic, and his left eye is a Terminator eye.
Yeah, so he's got this like partial metal, Phantom of the Opera mask on the left side of his face and Terminator eyeball.
I think it's supposed to be part of his face, his cybernetic eye or whatever.
Like his skin got peeled off and that's like the robot bit.
I think it's more like a graft onto him. My read is that this part is now part of his face. It's not like
it's not
a mask.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Right. Like he's endured some kind of trauma. And so his eye has been replaced with Magitech or some shit.
Sure. Or he did it to become stronger.
Something. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So Nav gives chase and he leaps up out of the water onto the boat.
And this is a male Mikote, by the way. So he smiles at Nav, not perturbed at all by the very impressive and threatening posture that Nav has. He's loaded with sharp bits. And he's big. Anyway, so our Terminator bro is like, whatever. He actually kind of smiles a little bit. And then suddenly he's surrounded by this swirling red aura, which red's bad.
They're doing the standoff, but actually the Mikote is just buying for time because the boat collides with a small rock. And this almost knocks Bo over the edge. Nav prioritizes his child over his own safety and lunges to catch Bo. Taking this opportunity, the Mikote flings a brace of daggers at Nav's back, and Nav goes tumbling into the water, stuck full of daggers.
Well, he sees the daggers, like he turns and takes them in his back, like on purpose to protect his son.
Yeah.
And yes, daggers and falls into the water. So Sue is watching this from the shore, and he's screaming, and the Mikote's like, for all their posturing, the Sahagin are still beasts and they should remember their place. So nice guy. So back at shore, Sue says he's gonna swim out, rescue Nav, and while we go back to the clutch to prepare to tend to his wounds. So when we return to the clutch, Nav is already back and he's on his feet, though he is pretty wounded. And he tells us they're merely flesh wounds, don't worry, but the failure to protect my child is what truly cuts deep. So while his wounds heal, he asks us to save our brother in his stead, since we've been officially like adopted by him into the clutch. So, the brothers are our brothers, etc. He tells us immediately after falling overboard, he struck at the Mikote's skiff with his spear, put a hole in it, and he's gonna have to find a port nearby before his shit sinks. And the nearest port is Aleport. So if we go there, we should find his skiff and find him. So go.
So we search around Aleport and we are once more confronted by Sylvie. She now grudgingly accepts that we're going to be involved here too. But she says our quarry is long gone. We search, but the thing we search for is not here, or some other unnecessarily cryptic, coy phrasing.
Right, yeah. We just couldn't leave things well enough alone, could you?
First he came for the Sylphs, then for the Sahagin. Yes, it's clear, the wheels are in motion. He will not stop until every beast tribe is crushed. We get to ask her one of two questions. I asked, why does he care about the beastmen? She goes, why indeed? If we knew, it would make our search that much easier. Thanks.
Okay. I think I asked her that too. I think the other one was like, who is this dude?
Well, we get a name for him. She says that the Ebon Claw's motives are as inscrutable as that red eye.
So, yeah. The Ebon Claw. And anyone who speaks his birth name isn't long for this world. And she doesn't know why he's targeting the beast tribes. And if we seek more info about Ebon Claw, we should ask Baderon at the Drowning Wench.
This character annoys me so much, Jen.
Ooh,
like Sylvie.
Oh.
It's two things where she knows nothing, but also acts in like the coy know-it-all way too. Like, I've got it all figured out and you're just scrambling in the dark while I'm withholding all my deep knowledge, even though she actually knows the shit. So it's like she's got her feet in both annoying pools.
Correct. And some of that will be explained later on, I think.
Yes and no. There's never a resolution as to why she acts like she knows everything.
But it's more like she takes this whole crusade very personally. So to have anybody else like sticking their nose in it, is it because she has so much like ownership over this whole issue that she probably wants to handle it herself for reasons that will be explained later.
That's fair, but she doesn't really know much about the actual overall plot of this thing. And her language, I guess, suggests that she knows more than she has a reason to, as in she's like, okay, this guy's going to come for all the beast tribes. How she knows that? Fuck if I know. Is he going to go for the Kikern?
Right.
Like, seriously,
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. It's being super coy without a basis. That's all.
That's fine. Now, like, what we have to do is feel like, oh, what is she? Where's she from? Why is she green? You know?
That aside, we head over now to the Drowning Wench to meet with... Sorry.
Wait.
Am I right?
I have both.
Oh, no.
Drowning? Maybe it is drowning.
All right, we're going to do a live action Google right here.
Shit, it might be drowning. I wrote both in my notes. Like, I haven't been there a million times.
The Drowning Wench.
She's actively in the process of drowning.
Yeah, drowning her sorrows.
Oh, that... Duh. All right.
I think it's kind of both.
Okay, so Sylvie's off to do stuff before tragedy strikes yet again. We head off to the Drowning Wench, and we tell Beteron who it is that we need some information on, and he's like, oh, I shivered just at the mention of the name. Naza'a Jab is his real name, and he's one of the probably top 5 deadliest sellswords in all of Eorzea. The man has a knack for underworld activities, assassinations, extortions, things of this nature. Any road. As we're sitting there, and no. Any road. What?
You may have been about to say this, but we learned that he began as an adventurer who always does good. But doing good as an adventurer did not suit him, so he turned to the dark side.
There was always the darkness within him.
We got two sides of the same coin. The good side is adventurer, and bad side is mercenary.
He let the hate flow through him.
Oh, also, by the way, we are wanted by Lieutenant Skate Swiss at the 789th Order Dig.
Oh, you skipped like a whole... It doesn't matter.
That's why
we're at the Drowning Wrench.
This is why it took me 2 hours and not 4 hours to do notes,
I already assumed 2 hours. But yeah, so like Track Ray at the fucking Maelstrom Command wanted to talk to us, and we go to talk to him, and he's like, Skate Swiss wants to talk to you. And we have to go to this...
That's why I skipped it, because it's a meaningless pit stop.
Like, it's classic.
Classic what?
Okay, so Skate Swiss, if we don't remember... she is the Maelstrom lieutenant who assisted us with the kobolds of the 789th. And there's some new crisis brewing with them, obviously. There's a pattern here. So we head out, and she's still chilling with the 789th at their dig site.
So the theme here, if you've not picked it up, is that we get like 2 lines of catch up on how the tribe's been doing. For the Sylphs, it's no surprise, voices being annoying, and they're doing Sylph stuff. For the Sahagin, same deal. Nav is now in charge, so he's doing, quote, good Sahagin stuff. But now we actually get like a postscript for the kobolds for the first time, because there was some ambiguity once we left them behind as to, is Gigu going to be a piece of shit? Is he going to actually step up? The answer
up by his bootstraps?
Is no. He has done nothing at all once we stopped holding his hand.
Yeah. So I think Skate Swiss had some really choice things to say here, but anyway.
Jen, I should have said holding his claw. My bad.
Oh, okay. All right. So we talked to Skate Swiss, and much like the other crises, this one threatens the whole of kobold kind. Scores of kobolds are disappearing from the mines without a hint of who or what might be responsible. And we share the information we have about Ebon Claw. And she confirms she's heard the rumors out of the Shroud and Lenosia. And she's gonna pick around at the dig site for info, and she sends us to inspect the scene of the crime. The inspection team from the 175th, to which our friend BB belongs, Gigu's girlfriend.
The one lady kobold.
Right. Well, there were the floozies, and then
oh, right,
BBs.
the floozies. I forgot it.
Yeah.
How did I forget the floozies, Jen?
I don't know, man. So the inspection team from the 175th, to which our friend BB belongs, was ambushed inside the dig, and they may have some useful info for us. Okay. So
we pop over to the site. This is the camp at the eastern end of Outer Lenosia. And we find once we get there that they were attacked and BB has been taken. However, a green-haired lady has given chase to the kidnapper. We head further south and we find Sylvie down on one knee and
No, she's lying unconscious on the ground. She is not she's not
And
revived.
then she takes the knee in 2 seconds.
So we find her laying unconscious on the ground. I'm like, fuck, did she die already? And, we were like, hey, wake up. So she wakes up. So she's been hurt pretty badly, but she's a little upset at herself. Her deductions were flawless, she says. She waited for the perfect moment to strike. She could still do nothing. And she says to herself, my strength wanes. At this rate, I shall be... I must go. I put in my notes, I'm calling it. Sylvie is the chosen one. She doesn't make it too far because we go back to the 789th site and she's lying on the ground, rusting between Gigu and Skatesvis. And she's like, you just leave me alone. You need to do whatever you can to stop Naza Job. Though he is still a hired sword working for some sadistic mastermind. Like, we're still chasing after the lackey here. We don't know who's in charge of this whole fucking thing. So no beastman is safe until we figure all of this out. But Sylvie needs serious help if she's going to live through this, whatever it is that she just experienced.
Well, the Kakern and the goblins are safe, Jen. Don't worry.
Apparently, yes.
Anyway, sorry.
Erasure. So Skatesvis takes her to Camp Overlook and finds a tent for her to hopefully get some rest and heal up. So our priority now is to save BB. So no, we've got to save all the people, right? And now BB is the latest victim. Gigu is shocked to hear that his beloved has been kidnapped. And he asks what her ransom is, because he's got 2 chunks of ore and a handful of sulfur. And Skatesvis is like, you know what? I appreciate it, but he's probably after more than riches. That word is doing a lot of heavy lifting in the sentence. Skatesvis asks us to share everything we know about Naza, and we will get to the bottom of this together. Skatesvis surmises that our quarry fled via airship because we found Sylvie feet away from a sheer cliff face. The only way you could leave from there is via airship. So there is no way that Commander Bluiden at Camp Overlook did not notice a strange airship leaving the space. So we should go talk to him, and while we're at it, we'll check in on Sylvie and see how she's doing. When we talk to the commander, he says that Sylvie's been resting in a tent. Luckily, they had one for her. Resources are slim at Camp Overlook, but she's been refusing both food and visitors. Maybe she's just shy, but she's not going to recover if she doesn't eat.
Suspicious.
So, he's right, but that's weird. Anyway, about that airship.
Yeah, so we ask about the airship, and he says, yeah, we saw an airship. It flew off that away. Very helpful. It could have gone anywhere, so that trail has gone cold pretty much.
It flew east towards Aldenard.
Which is like the whole mainland. So again, not very helpful.
Correct. But you were like, he didn't say shit about shit. I'm like, he did say. He said.
The point being is that
east.
Seeing the direction an airship flew off in is very...
It's something.
Unhelpful, less so if like every landmark is in that direction. But anyway, that aside, Sylvie is now conscious. We go to the tent and she says through the tent flaps that we were right and she was wrong. We are the only one who is strong enough to stand up to the Ebon Claw. And she says that he means to go after the Ixal next. But we wonder, who is she? Well, there are some secrets a girl must keep. Is this true, Jen?
Oh my god, yes.
Okay. First-hand account, yes.
Yeah.
There are secrets that girls must keep.
Have secrets.
If you know, you know.
No, you don't. You don't know what you don't know. Okay?
If you know, Jen.
It's a major fucking blind spot for you.
Thanks.
Yeah. Just deal with it.
We head now for the Ixal airship workshop, and we find our old bros Sazul and Tataramu. They catch us up briefly on their activities. They say that their experimental airship has kept on breaking records, and they're still making modifications. They're pushing their boundaries further.
Tataramu is in heaven here.
Yep.
He's the little aeronautics engineer.
Yeah. So,
son of the chairman of High Wind Skyways.
Yep. And Sazul is the kind of rogue Ixal who broke off from their Garuda worshipping ways to do this whole airship project.
Yeah. So they can finally fly again as a people. Yep. So as we're catching up with our buddies, as is tradition, someone else from the tribe runs up in a panic. Their logging grounds were attacked by a featherless nuker and an airship. They managed to fight him off, and they damaged the airship quite a bit in the process. Good job, guys. And Tataramu is like, there's no way it was the God's Quiver, or like anybody from Gridania. So what the fuck? So we tell him about the kidnapper. And Sazul is like, oh, that motherfucker. Vengeance. He's mad. Tataramu asks if we can go and see if we can find any bits of damaged airship to bring back to him. He could probably identify, the type of airship it is, or some kind of like forensics an aeronautics engineer can do. So we go to where they had the fight. It was near Hearst Mill, apparently, and we find some pieces of broken hull, and we take them back to Tataramu to check out. And he's like, oh, boom. Yep, got it. That is a Garland Ironworks model 1569-2. Only a few were ever manufactured, and it will only be too easy to determine its current owner. Like, fucking yeah.
But whoever can afford to outfit this mercenary in such a vessel must be wealthy indeed.
Yep. Like vast, limitless coffers.
So to get the update on the airship after all the research is done, we are going to go meet up with Tataramu's beleaguered manservant, Coulson. This poor guy.
That's right. He was trying so hard to like rein Tataramu in, and Tataramu was like, no, you're not the boss of me. And he had to appeal to Coulson's like passion for airship building and flying and stuff. And what a great story that was. Anyway, So we meet up with Advisor Coulson after he's done some digging in the, like at the DMV, essentially.
Yeah, we're in Ul'dah now.
Yeah. We're at the airship landing.
Weird.
Easy. He can just fly in, pop in. We can be like, what's up? And then you can just fly home. Like, easy.
He recounts that only 4 of these airships were created. 2 are owned by the Sultanate, and 2 are owned by, or at least were owned by Tataramu's company, High Wind Skyways. But they decommissioned 1, and they sold it off to a trading company known as the Laughing Alchemists. The terms of the sale were that the airship was to be stripped down for parts and not used, but nobody ever followed up on this detail, so who knows what happened to it?
Yep.
Until now.
Coulson admits that this whole thing, the Laughing Alchemists, the selling of this vessel or whatever, nothing about it sat right with him. His spidey senses were tingling. So just then, as we're like saying our goodbyes to Coulson, we overhear some drama with a couple of brass blades nearby. We overhear, the fugitive has been sighted in the vicinity of Emerald Avenue. Seal the gates. Block off all entrances to the Hustings Strip. I don't want to see either of your ugly faces until the beast is in chains. And we're like looking at this whole thing go down. Like, everything is going terribly right now. One of the brass blades turns to us and he says that a beastman has infiltrated the city and he's prowling the streets thirsting for blood doubt.
Well, on brand either way.
Correct.
We run towards the danger.
Yeah, we're going to look for this guy first.
Yep.
Because obviously that's their best chance of survival.
At the intersection of where the Ruby Road hits the Adventurers Guild, there is a Amalja hunkered in the corner. And we creep up on him, and hearing our approach, he turns, but before he does, he threatens us, saying that this is our day to die. We have made the mistake of approaching him, and he's got nowhere left to turn.
I mean, bro is like in the lion's den here. And obviously he's like tucked away in this corner. He's facing the corner trying to like minimize his appearance, you know? So we approach him. He doesn't know who the fuck we are. And
It's
he's like,
good camouflage.
Your day is gonna, I mean, it's like, as far as where to hide in Ul'dah, like right out in the street, it's not a bad spot.
Well, one, he's got his like whole stony like back turn, so he blends with the rocks. And two, for the quest circle, he's on the very edgy edge of the quest circle, saying where he might be.
I love it when they do
So
that.
he's hiding from us, the player, and the characters.
I'm like, don't just put him right in the middle of the circle. Put him at the edge of the circle. Make us work for it. Anyway.
So he turns around though, and we see that this guy is wearing a blue bandana and a blue sash.
We could see that before, to be fair. He couldn't see us, though. But he was ready to, like, kill us. You know, he's going to fucking kill his way out of here. But boy, oh boy, was he glad to see us. And he's like, do you remember me? It's Yadav Ga. I'm like, bro, of course we remember you. He was, like, our quest giver for so many things. And he's, you know, so someone... The reason why he's here, because this is a bad idea. Someone has kidnapped their hatchlings, and he pursued the man to Ul'dah. That's why he's here. And immediately, as he stepped foot in the city, there were cries of fugitive and criminal and, you know, beast and whatever. And no one will, like, listen to him say words. And so he's got no means of escape. And if no one will listen to reason, he'll straight up be forced to murder his way out. And just then, Sylvie runs up. This bitch. She's not a bitch. It's just, she's doing the lion thing. So Sylvie runs up just then, and she's like, you don't say such things. And Yadav Ga is like, who are you? A friend, she says. And asks him to follow her. She knows a way out of the city. And he's like, okay, I'm going to trust you. Don't fuck me.
Though we have just met, I sense honesty and courage in your words. Jin.
It's a little naive, bro, but you're, you know, desperate times and all that. That's fine. It works out. It's fine. And we could have been like, I vouch.
He sensed them, Jen. He sensed them in her words.
You know, sometimes you can pick up on vibes, for sure. You just like, yeah, you can, these like nano nonverbals that people give up.
Jin is making the weirdest gesticulation here. I don't know what's going on.
The gesticulations
like
I'm making, there's nothing nano about
piling
these.
Stuff in her lap or
micro
something.
About these.
I don't know. Anyway,
I'm like fanning a fire in my crotch is what I'm doing.
Nice. Some of those hot flashes.
Not yet.
Out in southern Thanalan, we regroup at the Ring of Ash. We catch the Malja up on this serial kidnapper, and they swear vengeance against him. Sylvie has told them to tell us to meet up with her back in Ul'dah. So we just got there, but we make to leave. But before we do, we are busted by the Mikote Ring of Ash member, Loon Ga.
Oh, this is so cute.
She's like, I thought we were bros, but you're leaving without saying hello. What's the deal?
Yeah. She's like, I thought you were one of us. I'm like, now what? Because it's like every time somebody addresses you that you don't know, the game gives you a little question mark. And I'm like, if I get one more question mark dialogue box, I'm going to lose it. But it's our buddy Loon. Love her. Though I'm going to rewind just a bit because Hamujga, he's the war leader for the Brotherhood of Ash. He had some things to say about, you know, this is the kidnapping, of course, is bad enough, but he says, you know, the martial prowess we achieve is passed down from father to son. So does our strength grow through generations, and those that follow, reaching heights of puissance their forefathers never knew. And this sniveling cur that would break this chain does us the ultimate dishonor. And he will answer for the abduction of our young, and he will answer in blood. Boom. I love that.
Nice.
That was like the most emphatic, I think, expression of like rancor and anger. And, I thought that was fantastic.
So Loon is telling us that we're not going to leave without saying hello, and she will fight by our side in this upcoming battle. Yadav-Ga scolds her. She is just beginning her warrior's journey, and this mercenary defeated their most experienced warriors soundly. But Loon-Ga points out that she can walk freely in Ul'dah, unlike the Amalja. And also, too bad, so sad, she's going to go anyway. Yadav-Ga realizes that he can't stop her once she's put her mind to it, so he resolves to cover for her instead and not tell Hamaj-Ga that she's gone missing.
Yeah, that worked so well last time.
Yep.
But, yeah.
You
tell Loon-Ga no. Good luck to you.
We return once more to Ul'dah with Loon-Ga, and Sylvie is finally ready to reveal her secret identity. So we meet up with her on the market street, and she welcomes us.
Just real quick.
Jen's got to actually me.
Correct. So when we're back out in front of the quicksand with Sylvie and Loon, she's just like scanning the horizon, just looking out for suspicious characters. And she's in her full like Amalja warrior garb. I thought for sure she would at least take her mask off to like dick around in the city.
Jen,
absolutely not.
The mask does not come off.
The mask does not come off, and she'll have words to say about that. So I think it's just fucking hilarious. She's full on like desert warrior mask walking around a cosmopolitan area.
Have you seen half the players? But I hear you regardless. Yes.
Anywho.
So we're on the market street, the Sapphire Avenue Exchange, and Sylvie's going to show us her secret identity. Part 1. We are going to head down to the southern end of the street, and she is by this random standard door, and she says, "Welcome to," and a question once more comes in from off screen. Someone says, "The head offices of the Ash Crown Consortium, Eorzea's greatest purveyor of all things crystal." Interrupting us this time is a jaunty Lalafell.
He's bespectacled and bemustached.
He is very cute. He's got hair
adorable.
And this nice little swoopy mustache.
Yeah, he looks real nice.
Yep.
Like a nice guy.
It's a good combo of stuff going on there. Visual stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, this guy is Shenga Mishanga. He is the chairman of said consortium. The consortium was founded to build beastmen relations and to help them become self-sufficient without the aid of primals. So the consortium mainly buys crystals from the tribes and sells them at a profit to other people, which is definitely highly illegal.
Just keeping the crystals out of the hands of people who keep dreaming up primals. But anyway, or as we know from many real world examples, incentivizing the collection of things like this just encourages them to harvest more. Hopefully they're a little bit more discerning about who they sell to, but there's only so much you can control about that. Anyway, so they are trading crystals with, other resources. I don't know, pots and pans and bolts of fabric. I don't know, things to make them more self-sufficient.
Mere weapons, ammunition.
Important. Whatever. So he's, this has been a really great endeavor, and he's, made some good money off of it too. So huzzah, win-win. But he asks us that we keep this ulterior mission a super secret.
Sure.
So they're a trading company. They're, but what they're really after is fostering better tribe relations, etc. And that's a difficult sell for a lot of people, so we're just going to keep that on the down low for now. With all that being said, Sylvie apologizes for keeping us in the dark about, who she is, who she works for. And apparently the consortium have been investigating similar abductions for a while, a year. But they've only recently started to ramp up. They're more frequent, they're more bold. Shenga asks to join forces against this menace, and we're like, yeah, bro, that's why we're here. While we're there, a message from Momodi came for us. Again, we are fucking summoned. And at the quicksand, we are met with all of our friends.
Before then, Jen, before the friends,
look at you.
Yeah, so the Ash Crown Consortium. This part annoyed me substantially because this is name dropped with gravitas.
We've never heard of these people before.
Exactly.
It means nothing.
This is a 1.0 reference.
Oh, fuck the rest of us.
Exactly.
Again.
Because in 1.0, the Ash Crown Consortium was part of like an MSQ plot beat where you had to help them negotiate a crystal purchase. And then there was some shakeup with Asians attacking you during the crystal transaction and blah, blah, blah. So one more thing just for the OGers. Rip us, latecomers.
Whatever.
That's all.
It fell... I was hoping for some major reveal. Like, I was going to be vindicated in my earlier theory that Sylvie was like the chosen one. And when this guy showed up and she was like, welcome to, and he interrupts with the Ash Crown Consortium, Eorzea's premier purveyor. And I'm like, Sylvie, do you know this fucking guy? Is he bothering you? Do you want me to get rid of him? No, that was for real. She works for a consortium and they trade in crystals and other goods or whatever. And I'm like, that's so lame, man. I was so deflated by this. Not even like a plot twist. It was just like, whatever. So anyway,
we head for the quicksand where all our bros are already.
We have Tataramu, Skatesvis, Voice.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Tataramu has been trying to look up information on the Laughing Alchemists with little luck and no clue to their motives. None. Voice suggests we all split up and pursue different threads for clues. And this speaks to how little I think of Voice. It may have been a good idea, and it's actually a good idea. But when he said it, I was like, no, fuck that. That's stupid. Shut your mouth. You're stupid.
Same.
Stupid ideas. And everybody's like, yeah, no, it's a good idea. I'm like, no, it's a good idea.
They don't know him.
All right, so we're gonna go through where each of these guys went and what they found. So Tataramu obviously went to the airship landing and asked around. And over the past few months, he found an increasing amount of requests for emergency landings from one Memoriga, chairman of the Laughing Alchemists.
This sounded weird. I think he means just like unscheduled landings.
Yes.
That sounds like he's going to crash like several times.
No, as in like I have not like logged this at all. I'm just like in the area doing weird shit and I got to land. Oops.
Yep.
So, and Tataramu has heard rumors of this guy and no one knows exactly how he's acquired his wealth. Some say black market weapons deals, probably worse, trafficking. But this is probably our guy. And we still have no reason. We don't have a motive. We don't know where to find him. Yeah, apparently Memoriga's nickname is the Deathmonger? Probably because of all this
mongering
underworld shit that he does. Yeah, mongering in death.
Well, speaking of underworld shit, Voice, he has used his alchemy contacts to track down info on the mercenaries' backers.
He should work with Hildebrand.
The Laughing Alchemists. Let's not go too far, Jen.
What a pair.
No, TY. The alchemists have been buying large quantities of illegal ingredients, 80 hunks of rotted void scent flesh, 20 bulbs of the Narcissus phantasmus, 50 ponzes. Did I say that?
I don't know what you said.
Great.
Narcissus phantasmus.
50 ponzes of lost soul entrails.
Weird shit. These are ingredients that are prohibited from sale in the open market.
Like dream flower.
Correct. And sometimes they're employed in the practice of certain forbidden arts. So this is all looking pretty bad. Not that we expected anything different, but so Skatesvis, she went to the Hall of Flames to dig through some records about some of the earlier abductions that weren't like made public. So she found a report of about 100 sylph corpses being unearthed in northern Thanalan about 6 months ago. And not a peep was made by the media or like anybody. It made no waves whatsoever. And I mean, sylphs in Thanalan are weird enough, but none of them had any external injuries. She's thinking poison. But yeah, so this whole thing went completely under the radar. And she's like, if this was anything other than a beast, a bunch of beastmen, we'd be up in arms, but nobody cared.
And finally, Lunga has used her tracking skills and her smelling skills to track our quarry to the Platinum Mirage.
Probably just reeks of Drakkar Noir.
Exactly. But they would not let her inside because of her Amalja outfit, which looks just the same as some gladiators. So I don't think that's points
They're
against.
like, you know what, ma'am, we would love to confirm your membership if we could just see your face.
Yes. The other factor, though, is the mask.
Yeah, she's like, I'll die before I remove my mask. This battle mask is a symbol of my rebirth and resolve. It represents my transformation into an Amalja soldier, ever strong and proud. I would die before removing it from my face for so petty a reason. Damn, girl, yeah, say it.
Jen, when I was doing this, my second stop was Lunga. So it feels like she cracked the case. She's got her guy here, but I had to leave her behind with our quarry apparently inside this place to go.
Well, that was your
get
mistake
some more.
for not following the duty finders.
I went by geography, Jen.
I did too. It made sense. Because then I was like, I'll do Skate's Fist second to last, and then Loon is right across the street.
Well, I opened the map. I did Skate's Fist first, and then I hit Loon afterwards because I hit map and I saw there are 2 quest markers in the same subzone as I was in already, having been in the quicksand. So I popped over there first. You did it better, Jen. I acknowledge it. But following my heart led me to a weird kind of plot moment where they had the guy cornered, but then it's like, well, see you later. Every
time I try to do that, like if there's like little glowing glittery bits of like important destination things, and you can see there's one close to you and one a little bit farther away and a little bit farther away, I'm like, fuck you, I'm gonna go to the farthest one first, and it never works out.
You are correct, Jen. We should play by the rules.
Planned like a build up, you know, in the geography of it, and we're just like, no, you can't tell me what to do.
My B Jen.
Anyway.
So
okay.
we all stop by the Ash Crown Consortium once more to get a summary by Sylvie. She concludes that this Deathmonger seeks to raise an undead army born of the souls of our beastmen friends. We're going to go and bust into that Platinum Mirage, but someone's got to get Lunga dressed appropriately.
We get like a really nice dress, like the same dress that the Lapis Maiden wears, just like a slightly different colorway. Also, how excited are we to finally get into the Platinum Mirage? Nobody goes in there. This is
exciting, yes.
Dude, okay.
Finally.
So we hand over this dress for her to wear, and she's like, what are these flimsy rags? Why are you showing them to me? And we're like, you gotta put them on, because we can't get inside without it. You can't have your confrontation with the Ebon Claw without doing this, blah, blah, blah. And she protests and protests. You know, we know how she is. But she complies, finally, and she's like, don't you dare tell anybody about this. Nobody. So she puts the dress on, she walks back out. She still has the mask on. And we're like, girl, you know, you gotta take that mask off. And she is just even more incensed, like, absolutely not. You already heard the rant before about why she won't take this fucking mask off. And we're like, they won't let you in with this mask on. Like, it's just, you want to finish this mission. You want to confront this asshole. You want your vengeance. Take the mask off. So she's like, fine. And she takes her mask off, and we're all like, oh my God, we're going to see Lunga's face. Oh my God. So she takes her mask off, and she's beautiful with her, like, you know, mint hair and these huge red eyes, and she's this gorgeous, like, mint eyebrows. She's beautiful. We all knew she would be anyway. So now we can go in. Okay.
We enter the Platinum Mirage, and we step inside this mercenary's well-appointed quarters. This place is swanked up.
This is opulent.
Every single surface is covered with these knickknacks. It's also like a rock star bedroom in a way, kind of like trash.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we head inside and we kind of gape out the area, and Lunga is like, oh my God, this place is like a palace.
Yeah. Yeah.
From around a corner strides the mercenary himself, wearing nothing but leopard print underwear.
Curl printed subligar.
Might be. Mm-hmm. Curl print underwear.
Well, bro just saunters in, and he looks at us. He looks at Sylvie and Lunga, and he's like, oh, I don't remember ordering whores. And that's when she draws her sword and she lunges at him. I mean, she would have done it anyway, but that didn't help. And he just very easily grabs her arm, flips her over, knocks her into her table, and she's like, good God, this guy is strong. We're like, well, yeah. So Sylvie calls Naza'a out for assisting Memoriga with his horrifying plan. And he's like, the plan doesn't matter. Like, he could do whatever the fuck he wants. And he tells Sylvie that she confuses his general disdain for all weaker beings, i.e., literally everybody else, for prejudice against beastmen. He's like Walter Donovan in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. He cares little about his employer's master plan, only that through his participation, he may find his equal in battle, his holy grail. And Sylvie is like...
Didn't we have a more immediate reference to the equal in battle thing, but we can't talk about it yet. We can't talk about it.
But it immediately reminded me of Walter Donovan. He's like, Hitler wants the world, and he can have it. He's welcome to it. What I want is the fucking grail. Anywho, so Sylvie kind of unfurls the plot as she understands it at this point. Memoriga would raise armies of undead beastmen, as they hold little value to Eorzeans. And who would miss a couple hundred or even a couple thousand beastmen? He would produce armies and sell them to the highest bidder. It's just a money machine. And Naza'a applauds her passion. You even sound like a beastman yourself.
He gives her a
literal, like, clap, 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 clap. It's very condescending.
During this, Sylvie gets more and more irate. She begins to stammer. This one, you, Claude One, killed this one's friends. She scrunches up and begins to float and transforms into a sylph named Silvexio.
That's so close.
You were halfway there. Good job,
so
Jen. Well deduced all the same.
I feel like she should have been the chosen one. This is how she saves
the chosen
people,
one can summon 10,000 Ramus or whatever, so
true,
it'd be a bit OP.
True. But I was like, what do I remember the chosen one? Could it have been possible that they were like a half sylph, half here or something? I was trying to remember anyway. So yeah.
But she demands that the mercenary tell us where his master is. And at first he goes all coy, like, I don't think so. He's paying me a lot, so I better not spill the beans.
I'm not cutting off my funding.
Now in barges the whole team. Tatramu has heard this, saying if he spills the beans, he'll double whatever his master is paying. No, triple it. And this amuses our mercenary. He slaps his knees.
Oh my God, this is amazing. What a ridiculous circumstance I find myself.
He'll tell us that his master is in the invisible city, probably already beginning his experiments. Mm-hmm. But keep your coin, because I'm rich enough already. I just want to fight. Pick a lane, bro. Now we get the whole, like, I just want my proper opponent shtick.
And we're like, all right, that's all. Then we're done here.
Skate Swiss is raring to go. She's like, yeah, let's
you
go
want to fight?
right here and now.
Go. We're like, okay, all right.
But Tataramu says we got what we need, so let's just get out of here.
Good call.
Back outside, Sylvie has retransformed into her human form. She explains that she was with a group of sylphs that took it upon themselves to go and live among the rest of Eorzea, to disguise themselves with the sylph illusion magic as walking ones, big people, and to learn our ways, to foster understanding, etc., etc.
Yeah.
But the Laughing Ones saw through their disguise and they ambushed this group of sylphs. These are the ones who were buried up in Eastern Thanalan.
Northern Thanalan.
Is it Northern? Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
So she was the sole survivor of this massacre, and that is why she is so fired up to put a stop to this beastman kidnapping business.
Yeah, this is, everybody's out for vengeance, and, she's got her own flavor of that going on, which is why I think she was so territorial about it to begin with.
Yep.
Anyway, so when she escaped, she found Master Shanga, and she's been carrying on her mission to find the kidnapper, like, in secret while she's been working for the consortium. So we're all standing there, and Tataramu is going to notify each of the tribe's leaders, and then we're all going to meet in the invisible city and confront this dude. But before we head out, he gives us a little something. We get an explosive made by the sylphs, enhanced by Bago of the 789th, one of his lovelies, and optimized for throwing by the Yokatl 9. Look at that. We're all working together.
3 of 5.
We're all working together.
Doesn't have fins on it from the Sahagin.
Maybe. Okay. So we all head out to the Invisible City. And
these are the ruins that are in the northern part of Eastern Thanalan. These overlook that chasm.
And they're like already crawling with zombies.
Yep.
So it's perfect.
There's a whole set piece here where they have, you can see it there before the quest kicks off. They have like a giant boiler type thing with these little basins on the side that are boiling with red liquid.
It's straight out of like Ogamoro.
Yeah.
It's just this huge cauldron.
And you can see Mimariga there. He's kind of cackling besides the boilers. And we see BB's there. Bo is there from Zahagan.
Mm-hmm. And then
some sylph pods.
Amalja hatchling.
Yeah.
And the podlings.
Yep.
That are still pods. So.
And also some zombies like 5 feet away from them, just chilling.
Yeah. Like, it's awkward. So we meet up with Silbexio, like, right outside. Silbexio confirms, like, hey, are you ready for battle? This is going to be like a whole thing. And I was like, you know what? Just give me a second. And I was like, I don't want to be bard for this. I want to be black mage for reasons. But it didn't apply my glam, which was upsetting for no reason. Like, I have that shit locked in. When I change to black mage, I should have a glam plate associated with it. There's something's fucked up because it's like, you can't apply glam plates here. I'm like, no, duh. I'm not trying to change it. Just load the shit as I have programmed it. Motherfucker. So I had all of the Garland Ironworks like
Great.
casting gear on,
Yep.
which is like the hooded whatever. And I'm like, I can't even see my face. This sucks. Not that I was like taking pictures or anything, but still, like I don't like it when I'm in
experience.
Correct. When I'm in like hella cutscenes with my characters, and I have like I forgot to take off the mask or whatever.
Yeah.
I like being able to see my character's face and eyes and expressions.
That's why I stopped wearing helms pretty much in general because of the cutscene factor. It should just disable them in cutscenes or give you an option to either raise visor or remove helm in
automatically in
cutscenes.
cutscenes. Yes.
Like, how are we 12 years into this thing and still like that's not an option?
Blech.
We got 2 die channels, but we still can't fucking take our helmet off in cutscenes.
FanFest 2025.
There we go. I will freak at that time. Finally, I can wear helmets again during MSQ.
All right. So we are ready. And we spy Memoriga's whole setup here, you know, as Levi said. It's being attended by a laughing alchemist who's like literally laughing, and he's stirring the pot. He's stirring all the goop.
We also got Memoriga here in the flesh, a stereotypical rich Lalafell.
Like Lolorito
times 2.
Stan.
Like,
yeah,
he puts Lolorito to shame with his fucking like
he's
statue.
Got, like bedazzles on his face.
Yeah, he has the forehead jewel. He has gold trim on his robes.
Hella jewelry.
Yeah. So super swank looking.
We see the cut of this guy's jib. So the two of us, Silbexio and I, we run in, and Memoriga is like, "Oh, isn't this adorable?" But because his plan is about to come to fruition. The realm will be his. He's going to be the wealthiest man in the world, etc., etc. Mwahahaha. And then he orders his bodyguards to kill us. They take a couple steps towards us, ready to murder our faces, when shing, sword comes flying in and stops them in their tracks. And atop the ruins stands, well, everybody's here. Hamushka! He bellows down. I am the flame that quenches the shadow. That's such a badass line. The fist that crushes villainy. I am the war leader of the Brotherhood of Ash, Hamushka, and my name shall be the last you utter with your dying screams. I mean, bro is mad. So this is like, this is like a Power Rangers moment where they go through and they announce like themselves one by one.
That's the exact vibe I got too.
Yeah, they each have a little line to say. None of them are as badass as Hamushka's, but so they go. I don't have all of them.
I do, Jim.
Oh, great.
Nav steps up next. I am Nav, Clutch Father first and Warrior second.
Cute.
Sazul is next. He goes squawk. Sazul Totalak of the Ekatl 9, I am. How to count Ekatl 9, know not. How to fight Ekatl 9, know well. Forfeit your life is. I hope they can count being airship engineers, but whatever.
No, but it's like, it's real catchy.
It's a joke because they're not actually 9. But yeah.
There's 2 jokes here, Levi. Jesus fucking Christ. He's like, we call ourselves.
You're a joke.
We call ourselves the Ekatl 9 because we're not going to call ourselves the Ekatl something 20-something. He says
that's
that
the first joke, yes.
Yeah, so, but that's just funny. Like, we're the Cuddle Nine. We can't count, but we can fight. It's great.
That's one joke. Jin can't count jokes. Got her.
There's the reference to the, oh my God. It's you know what? It gets funnier the more I explain it.
I agree.
Continue.
Frixio goes, this one is Frixio, elder of little solace. Laughing one's crimes against little ones will not be forgiven. That's the lamest of them all. Sorry, Frixio, but does not compare.
I mean, they are the sylphs. They're extraordinarily passive.
Yes. And finally, Gigu steps up. Pickman Gigu of the 789th is here, and Gigu has forgot his line, slipped his mind, drew a blank, and he pulls a detonator from his pocket. What does this do again? This is one of the little bomb detonators.
It's one of Bago's lovelies.
He squeezes it, and multicolored fireworks erupt around the assembled leaders. They cry, "Together we are the Beastmen Alliance."
Yay! And it's amazing. And just as we're all gazing at this impressive display, Naza'a Jab shows up. And Memoriga is like, hey, man that I'm paying money to, kill these dudes. And Naza'a is like, no. Like, I'm here to fight, but I'm not fighting for you.
But I'm going to fight the same guys you told me to kill, but
yeah,
I wanted
I'm in
to.
it for my own reasons.
And also, you can't pay me because I'm doing it for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what the fuck?
You can't fire me, I quit.
Figure out what you do, guys, seriously.
So he looks at the chieftains or whatever, and he's like literally, come at me, bro. Tap into your hate and your anger and fight me. So Bexio and I, we're like down on the ground with, Memoriga and shit. And so we're like, okay, that's an amazing distraction. So Bexio is going to go release the hostages. We're going to use our special bomb that everybody worked on to destroy the cauldron.
3/5 of the bodies worked on.
Which in some points in American history meant a whole.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh.
We will dispatch a couple dudes with ease. And I mean, yeah, I got all dressed up for nothing, basically.
Yes.
Like, I'm going to be Black Mage. It's going to be sick. I thought this was going to be like a whole, like,
you get a
Ratatan style, with like Naza'a.
Two guys, Jen.
Like, no. Yeah. So we run in. The instance starts. Two guys
It's not
pop
an
up.
instance. It's like a battle circle thing.
Yeah. Two guys pop up. They go down with like 2 hits. Like, and then I run in and the cutscene continues. I'm like, is that it? Yes, Jen, that was it. So anyway, we throw the bomb at the cauldron. It explodes spectacularly into fucking nothing.
And Memoriga is horrified. That cauldron was solid mithril.
I mean, that sucks.
Sucks for you.
That really sucks. And he's like, it cost him literally billions of gil, and he is ruined. Meanwhile, the fight above is like 5v1, and but each of the chiefs brings a little something to the fight. I think Nav starts. He runs at him with a spear. He's like, "I'm going to get you this time, sucker." Spoilers: he does not get him this time, sucker. Naza'a just hits the spear out of his hands and whatever. And then Hamouj, I think, is like, "Cover me, Frixio," and he like charges at Naza'a, and Frixio does like one, this like amazing shield spell, because then Naza'a throws like, swords and daggers and shit at Hamouj, bounces right off the shield, and Hamouj just barrels into him and knocks him over. And then I think does Sezul?
Yeah, he boomerangs his sword.
His scepter
into his sword into
Scimitar.
Nav's hand.
Yeah.
The scimitar is a sword, Jen. He boomerangs his scimitar into Nav's hand.
Yes.
Nav catches it and jumps up in the air. Gigu detonates more explosives, which are apparently mounted to Nav's back. So Nav does
he threw something up and then.
I recall him squeezing a detonator and then Nav exploding midair.
Okay.
So
I mean, I for me, my interpretation was he activated something and then threw it.
Oh, I assume that he has strapped bombs to Nav previously, and then they explode on Nav's back and they rocket him down. Either way, he goes fast down towards the mercenary.
See, everybody's helping.
Does like a dive-in sword swipe.
Shing.
cutting him down in a single blow.
Yeah. Well, he's not down, but he's hit. He's finally hit. He staggers, again, they're all on top of these ruins. And he's like, oh my God, I got. And he staggers and he falls off the edge of the building. And Gigu goes to like marvel at his corpse on the ground, I assume. Not so. Naza'a has stumbled directly into an awaiting airship down below, and he is already piloting it away. And he has removed his mask. He has like an actual eyeball, like a normal eyeball.
Does he?
Yeah.
I missed that.
His mask was gone, and he's got normal face underneath.
Oh, right, because we get the mask. Sorry, Jen. You're right. It's not a Terminator face. It is
No, it was just there
just
for like
a dumb
intimidation.
mask. Yeah.
Yeah, part of his getup.
Yeah, so we'll get the mask in a second because he lost it.
So we're all like, oh, like, fuck this guy, man. He's like, that's fine. I'll be back for my revenge. See you all later. And we're like, fuck. And Gigu is like, wait, what's this? I have another bomb? Curious. And he detonates this. And on the ship, Gigu planted like a butt ton of bombs on this thing. And so they all ignite. And Naza'a Job makes this like Hildebrand face, like, uh-oh, and goes to run off, and it doesn't matter. It just explodes into smithereens, multiple explosions. It's very satisfying. So, there was much rejoicing.
Meanwhile, we call the cops on Memoriga. The Brass Blades show up to escort him off for his crimes. And the tribe leaders all wave goodbye to us from atop the ruins, and they depart, except for Fruxio, who flits down to praise Sylvie, aka Silbexio's bravery, and welcome her back to Little Solace. Like,
Silbexio was really concerned that, that they wouldn't be welcomed back, and, that they would be seen as, tainted in some way. And Fruxio was like, not at all. Though, the day you left was actually a really bad day because we were all really sad to see you go. But at the same time, if anybody was going to succeed at living amongst the walking ones, it was going to be you, because you're so strong-willed and so pure of heart. And those are amazing things to hear. And Frixie's like, see you at home, and everything's great. And so Bexio was like, I just want to check in with the consortium just, one last time before I go back home. So we all go back to Wildaw.
Yep. And once we're there, she just gives us a real quick goodbye. She says that after her kin were killed, she held hatred for us walking ones, but people like us and the Ash Crown Consortium has shown her that her people can actually achieve the dream of unity.
Yeah.
And she gives us the Mercenaries eyepiece.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's all right.
All right.
Opinions may differ.
Correct.
And also, we now become allied, as in the allied reputation with all of the tribes. So we can now buy more stuff from them.
More stuff. I did not check out what that stuff was.
It is a different version of their minion for every tribe. So you can buy like a reskinned minion from their OG minion.
I see.
Yeah. And that's that. Jen, this was your very first time doing a intersociety quest.
Correct.
How was this for you?
I do wish that I had done it not in the capacity of taking notes for the podcast, because it's I read 2 or 3 dialogue boxes. I have to stop, paraphrase what I just read into my notes. And it was a very excruciating experience. It took me 4 hours to get through the whole thing, which is a me problem. But I thought it was real cute. It didn't blow me away, but I thought it was cute. I did really enjoy catching up with all of our buddies at each tribe and being like, hey, what's up? It gave me a little bit of the feeling when after. And we meet up with our friends for the first time in probably months. And so it made me feel I don't know, it was a little bit like a reunion. It was great, especially with Sezul. I was like, bro, oh my God. And Nav, our adopted dad. I was I had higher hopes for Gigu, but he is who he is. I But yeah, it was great to see everybody again and do some good in the world.
Yeah.
Oh, and Lunga. Yeah.
Of
Got
course.
to see your face.
Finally. For me, the pacing of the first 2/3 or thereabouts is pretty awful in my opinion. They just have too many tribes / societies in A Realm Reborn.
Yes.
It goes down to 3 per expansion from here on, but in A Realm Reborn, just like in general, it has lots of content, and having to hit all 5 locations, do the intro with them, blah, blah, blah. It just kills the pacing.
Yeah.
It's going way too fast.
It like cheapened the whole thing.
Yeah.
You're spending like no time.
They should have a common meetup and like hang out. They shouldn't make us go to every single location. That really kind of kills the momentum by just going too fast to actually camp out and do a thing somewhere.
Yeah.
Right. Now we're at the Kobold camp.
Yeah.
Now we're at the Ixal camp.
All the hits.
But after everyone gets grouped up, then it starts to actually gel a bit when people do things versus just jump around places.
Right.
I hate the villain in this. He's a discount.
Straight up. He's not interesting at all.
No. I feel like this is trying to play off a trope, which does not work for me in general. I can talk about my complex feelings in some years when we meet him, but I'll of course moogle those out. But this portrayal of this trope especially makes me hate everything. It doesn't make me hate him as a character. It makes me hate the devs for putting him in front of me.
And it's not even like they made Memorika even interesting either. Like nobody here is breaking new ground.
No. So that's a bit of a bummer. I do honestly like the curl print underwear scene just because it's a bit, I don't know. Yeah. It's so much. It kind of like, crosses over into.
He said the word whore and like he's wearing these things. Yeah, it was a lot.
True to the tribe quests in general, I do like the finale scene. The team up gives me good feelings.
Yeah.
It's really odd. The line between great and horrible for me with slapstick stuff is very fine. Yeah. And voice falls on one side and this group and Hildebrand fall on the other side. So this whole thing with even like Gigu's dumb antics, it works for me. And I enjoy his like, oops, what does this bomb do now type stuff, which is fun, especially for like the complete airship destruction at the end.
Yeah. It's like, wait a second, I have this thing left over. What is it? Oh, that's right. I planted all that shit earlier. That was great. There were 2 running jokes that we didn't talk about at all. The first one being like voice. His theory was that Memorika was turning beastmen into chocobos.
That's like, okay. I didn't want to give voice more screen time.
Yeah, exactly. So every time we were like in a group discussing like our plans, he'd be like, every passing moment, that's going to be more beastmen being turned into chocobos. And then the second one was when we were talking to Skatesvis for the first time. And she's like, who do you think it is? And we get a little pop-up that gives us 2 options. And it's like, oh, I think it's the kidnapper or it's a rogue Aiden. And she's like, who would find it? You know, she kept like asking questions about stuff and the dialogue box would pop up with these options. It would be like, it's the kidnapper or it's a rogue Aiden. And it was always like, I don't know, like, is the rogue Aiden joke because she's a rogue Aiden? And
it's a callback to some dialogue choice in the actual Kobold quests.
Okay. I just thought that was really funny. It was just 2 options, you know, when she asks a question and it's, yeah.
Well, anyway, Jen.
Who steals an airship? A rogue Aiden.
You did it. Good job, Jen. This took you a lot of work to get all of the allied societies up to max, but you did it. You did them all. Man. And you did the conclusion. Any final comments?
No.
Great. Well, next time we are going to be starting on the patch 2.55 main scenario quest.
Oh, dip.
A quick few words about the finale of our Realm Reborn coverage. I think actually next week in our release schedule, we are taking a week off for Christmas, if I have our recording versus release schedule correctly. So actually in 2 weeks, we'll be doing the MSQ. If I have my timing right, enjoy your holiday. If not, I'll edit something in. I don't know. Anyways, though, see you in the new year for the start of the 2.55 MSQ. After we finish that, we have a couple more things to hit before we're on to Heavensward. We'll be doing the A Realm Reborn relic quest. So we have been working in the background on the relics. We'll have finished that by then, and we'll be doing a couple episodes about our relic weapon process. And we'll also be spending some time on the post-Moogle before we move on to the conclusion of A Realm Reborn.
Never done post-Moogle anything.
Well, welcome, Jen. Okay, thank you, Jen. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.
And that will do it for today's episode. Thank you all so much for listening. And thank you for not being Kikirans or goblins, because apparently fuck those guys. If you want to get in touch with us, you can at podreturnffxiv@gmail.com. Check the show notes for our Discord. You can join up, talk about your pets, post some memes, share your glams, join us for group runs, all that good stuff. It's a really great group of people, and we would love to have you. We also have our Blue Sky account at podreturnffxiv for a variety of musings and maybe art. I don't know. It's a weird place. And lastly, our Patreon, patreon.com/podreturnffxiv. And for $1 a month, you get access to everything else we do. That includes the seasonal episodes. We just released another Card Sharks episode about the Final Fantasy TCG. TCG?
Yep.
These are all new words to me. In addition to our Final Fantasy XI series, Vanadiel Van Splainer. So give it a listen. With that, we hope you enjoyed the episode. Have a good day or night, and we will see you next time.